Star Wars Outlaws is complete trash. It's almost like Ubisoft made it or something.
Star Wars in gaming has been a mess, especially for the last decade or so, and that can be blamed
Star Wars has been a mess in general for a very, very long time.
on Disney giving Electronic Arts exclusivity of the franchise. We had those terrible Battlefront games, very underwhelming. Obviously, Battlefront 2 ended up getting
Oh god, people hated this so much.
better, but it'll be remembered for the microtransaction disaster that it was, and also obviously that lie of a campaign which you're supposed to play as a villain, but it really didn't end up being that way. The Jedi games from Respawn Entertainment have
Complexity in storytelling is something that has been lost to the modern age for a pretty long while now. When was the last time you actually played a game as even close to a villain? Yeah, can't even remember, can you?
been really the only highlight, and even then they've had their issues, especially at launch for Jedi Survivor. And then there's just a litany of canceled projects that looked very interesting, such as Amy Hennig's Visceral Games project that she had in development for years until EA pulled the plug. Now,
Dude, the saddest part about everything Star Wars related in general is the canceled projects. Because there are so many good ideas in the canceled projects that sound like, wait a minute, this sounds at least interesting. And then what gets greenlit? The Acolyte of all things unholy, Ahsoka. Jesus. It's like, there's interesting ideas, and they're like, no, not enough Vogue garbage inside here. We need to make the Acolyte.
now, Star Wars Outlaws, first open world Star Wars game, and it's coming from Ubisoft. Finally, an outside developer other than Electronic Arts. It's been about a decade or so.
And it just got worse. It's people complain, "Oh, EA bad." Well, I mean, yeah, EA bad, obviously, but I mean, do you really want to pick Ubisoft over EA? I honestly am gonna stick to EA.
And Outlaws gives me vibes of Star Wars 1313, which was probably one of the most promising Star Wars projects in history that ended up getting canceled by Disney once they acquired the franchise. That was in development, I believe, by LucasArts, and that whole studio was shut down, again, when George sold the franchise to Disney. Now, with Star Wars Outlaws, when the first trailer came about,
The exhilarating space combat. Oh boy.
actually thought the gameplay looked rather interesting. Obviously, Kay Vess, the protagonist, looks like a knockoff of, let's just be honest, she looks like Han Solo, just a knockoff version of that. And I would not be surprised that it began as a Han Solo game. But everything since has
I mean, saying that this is just a knockoff is honestly kind of putting it extremely lightly, but okay.
been worrying. I've been trying to be a little hopeful about this project because in many regards it kind of feels like it should be a dream Star Wars project, but we've had controversies like this. Star Wars Outlaws Ultimate Edition for $130 continues an industry trend of paying lofty sums for early access and players don't like it. Why is everything monetized? Alternatively,
This is not even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is obviously the game itself being complete trash tier dumpster fire, okay? We saw the gameplay of this. The graphics look horrible. Everything is stupid. And my god, people need to learn how physics work because roaring campfires in space is one thing, but when you literally don't understand the physics that heavy objects don't just boop and then go spinning around everywhere because they're heavy, it's just so painful. Okay, if you want to make a game, at least make the elements that are supposed to be realistic and instantaneously understandable actually realistic and instantaneously understandable. I just can't how bad everything is. The $130 price tag for 3 days early access and a mission is honestly one of my least worries about this whole thing.
you can pay just $110 for early access, but no in-game bonuses.
Oh no.
Ubisoft has become notorious with having microtransactions in their single-player games, and it is becoming something that is tiring. It's very irritating, it's very annoying, and yes, it does call into question game design.
You can get to one side of the planet to the other with your speeder in roughly 4 minutes. And considering, and by the way, I'm not saying that's actually that bad. A lot of games are similar to this, but the thing is, What the hell are you gonna encounter on those 4 minutes? Nothing. Other games actually make you stop because there's something interesting on the way. This game is not gonna do that. I can bet my ass on that. This game is literally Starfield but Star Wars. And the loading screens in this game are as bad as Starfield, by the way. If you haven't seen the gameplay, oh boy, it is literally Starfield, but you don't get a loading screen. There's the, oh, I'm going inside a planet, and there's like 5 minutes of clouds because reasons. And then there's a cutscene where I land. It's literally gonna be Starfield all over again.
Because once you have those microtransactions there, people are right to assume that the game design.
Also, this again, you see water leaving a track like this, but you don't see sand leaving a track like this, which doesn't make sense. Well, actually, it's even worse. I lied. Because you see, when you're going like this, you expect sand to be blown, like, to the sides, right? Like a normal person with a normal functioning brain. But no, this is not what happens. This speeder, some magically how, leaves a track inside where you were going. The dust is not pushed to the sides. No, 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 no. It somehow creates a dent in the sand.
Is being altered to push you in that direction. And I know people have argued, no, these games are extremely generous with rewards and stuff, but I don't care. As long as there's a store there, those questions are extremely valid. And yeah, the pre-orders and everything, you get early access. I hate that developers are doing this. EA just did that with their soccer game, and they're making billions off of it. It's a dangerous precedent. But even then, there's been other major issues, such as the new Star Wars Outlaws trailer looks shockingly bad. This was a trailer, story
shockingly bad is an understatement.
Trailer back in April, and that's where the conversation really started to emerge surrounding Outlaws and the controversy surrounding the game. Obviously, there's been some in regards to Kay Vess's appearance. That's not necessarily
the fact that she looks disgusting. Yes,
relevant to the point with this trailer.
That is relevant to the whole game. I don't want to play with the ugly female character that is for all intensive purposes, designed as female, but to be male some magically. How? Okay, I'm not dealing with that.
Because it's very worrying. And this is an example of what I'm talking about. This was the trailer 3 months ago. 185,000 dislikes. That's insane.
Not enough.
And then
not enough.
Comment section is quite brutal. Never believe Ubisoft until you try the game yourself. Ubisoft told me to be comfortable not owning their games. I'm going to be very comfortable not buying them. That's actually something that they did say at the beginning.
Yes, Ubisoft is notoriously now well known for, people should be get used to not owning the games that they buy. Well, if I don't buy the game that I buy, then you're not selling the game. I'm just gonna go find it in another place for free. Okay, Ubisoft? We have a deal. I actually like it. I'm saving money and hurting you. That's great.
Beginning of the year, daily reminder, do not give your money to people who despise you. Remember, never pre-order from Ubisoft, and it goes on and on. You kind of get the point. Now, as of late, there's been even more concerns because we've had articles and previews like this in which game reviewers actually got access. This is Eurogamer. After worryingly dated hands-on with Star Wars Outlaws, Ubisoft's galactic open world feels less excited than expected a long time ago. This is why I'm extremely nervous. This is why I'm extremely skeptical about this game, especially when you have multiple articles like this. We'll get to the other ones in a second, but this is part of the...
Bro, when a game is this bad, you can just see it from the trailer. I watched all the trailers. I watched all the gameplay parts. It looks dull. It looks generic. It looks bad. One of your missions is go into the Snorlax, because remember the Snorlax pit, and retrieve its tooth. What do? Well, you find the mouth of the Snorlax, and what do? Do you collect the tooth from the mouth of the Snorlax? No, you go inside of the Snorlax. And what's inside of the Snorlax? Stone caves. The fuck? And then at the end of the cave, there's a tooth of the Snorlax. Why? Make it make sense.
The article, it says, having played Star Wars Outlaws for a good hour or so ahead of the Ubisoft Forward show, however, I've come away with a renewed appreciation for Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. In fact, no, a bit more than that. In comparison to Outlaws' admittedly early work-in-progress demo, I just don't like that excuse because the game releases in a couple of months. You can't call that an early demo, even if it is an old build. It does continue. It says they stand as singular pieces of revolutionary high art, the Jedi games from Respawn. Outlaws' early gameplay feels positively ancient, not only mechanically but in execution, and its near total lack of character flair, invention, detail, or style. And trying to describe,
listen, the whole character build is supposed to be, you have a Baby Yoda. You have your version of Baby Yoda. Don't you like Baby Yoda? How dare you not like Baby Yoda?
it, the closest comparison I can draw is with Uncharted Golden Abyss, which launched in 2011 on the PS Vita, and the article later goes on to mention that the sense above all is that Outlaws is a game that is intentionally aiming for a mechanical light touch, which is absolutely fine. There is room for games that are more approachable and set themselves up for broad appeal, and it's fitting for Star Wars' family audience, but in Outlaws' case, it feels like a clear step beyond approachable.
Dude, I love this. I love this. This is not going to be an only time. Okay, so your pet is going to jump on someone's face, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to veil their hands like this. Are they actually going to try and, like, you know, swap the stupid Baby Yoda away? No. Are they going to shoot the baby? No, of course not. They're just going to wait until you run up to them and
into something potentially...
Wow! Woman power right there, baby. Yeah, that's right. She's knocking out them left, right, and center. The 1-2 Mayweather.
Bland and Ubisoft feels like it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? Come back to Jedi, the inevitable comparison given the similarities, it's a painful contrast, even down to the finer points. The level of detail and attention feels light years apart. And again, this sentiment has been echoed by other previewers. Digital Trends, Star Wars Outlaws might be a little too close to the Uncharted for its own good. And then PC Gamer even said Outlaws has the same problem as every modern Star Wars thing, playing it way too safe. There's still so much we don't know about.
No, every modern Star Wars problem is the fact that it's a fucking woke mess that tries to get rid of men in general and pushes messaging more than gameplay and doesn't care about anything. It's literally just a power fantasy trip for some kind of a Hollywood inbred, and that's it. That's the modern Star Wars problem. They don't care about the story. They don't care about what came before it. They just want to make something and want your adoration while not actually even trying. This is pathetic.
Outlaws, but I saw moments of greatness. And that's the thing about these Ubisoft games. There's always a little bit... There's some greatness there. It's just never enough. Now, for the reason why we are doing this video, we have some exclusive new gameplay coming from IGN, and it's extremely worrying. As you can see, this one already has 41,000 dislikes. And yeah, 10 solid minutes of don't pre-order energy, how to save 80 euros in 10 minutes. The explosions look like something you've seen in those TV games from the 90s. So we're gonna...
Oh yeah, the explosions are super bad. These explosions can be best characterized as CS-16 grenades. That's it. That's the explosion. There you go.
Ignore the frame drops in San Andreas like explosions. A $100 game from the publisher that brought you the first quadruple A game in history. Something that CDPR themselves made fun of. Yes, Skull and Bones. That horrific experience. Shoots a blaster.
Well, CDPR is currently making a Witcher game without Geralt. So all good luck to them. And after being completely vokeified, again, CDPR Red literally won a Voke Award. I'm not joking. They literally won a Voke Award. It's gonna be bad.
Multiple times the enemy dies while screaming. Other enemies is someone there. Oh boy. I have not actually seen this gameplay. This will be my first time, and I'm actually very interested to see how disastrous this is. And so we begin. I mean, just right off the bat, the one thing I noticed, this is maximum settings, by the way. Look at this. This is maximum settings, okay?
This looks like something from 2004.
This is in 4K, the quality. The texture quality just doesn't look quite right. I'm not sure why that is, but...
Remember the Sandcrawler, Dune Buggy, or whatever the hell this thing is supposed to be? Remember?
Maybe this is just nitpicking so far.
She runs she runs like she has never ran before.
Love that every Star Wars game now has to have this little small companion alongside you. I don't know why that is. I mean, I'm sure it's probably for toy sales, but
yeah. They also tried to sell toys of Rose Pico, and well, now they're in a landfill. A landfill not big enough for all of them.
Hey, I heard you could put a turret on my ship. I'm sorry?
She said she'll put a turret anywhere if you give her a tooth. Forgive the
Remember?
intrusion, but I sensed you needed an interpreter.
Oh, thanks, but I'm not giving her a tooth.
this is maybe a small criticism, but the facial animation.
No, Listen, this is a big criticism, but you know, the first criticism is like, hey, I heard you can do shit for me. Oh, what's that? You're not gonna do it for free? What do you mean? Oh, that's canon energy right there.
Animations don't quite look quite up to par. It looks a little wooden in the eyes, and also.
I'm sorry, but what part of this looks good? I'm struggling to find a single part that looks good. I don't see a thumb here also. Well, the thumb is, I guess, here, but the color palette is just so bland and shit that you can't even tell. Oh my god. This has Ubi slop written all over it.
I love how they have like a female C-3PO here. Interesting.
Oh, just kick him in the shins.
No, not your tooth. A sarlacc tooth. One from its second mouth.
Second mouth. Oh, you won't take credits?
Yeah, something about those facial animations don't.
She says if you won't pay for breakfast, you can eat sand for free. A Jawa proverb.
No, I get it. I'll get the tooth. But that turret better be good.
That's some energy right there, boys.
You have a deal? How exciting. You know, this reminds me of my time negotiating with the Trade Federal.
Hey, ND, you know where I can get a sarlacc?
New quest, the hot fixer. Wow.
Tooth?
Sarlacc. And you need to find its pit. I'd start in the Dune Sea.
Yeah, you see this? Right? It just disappears.
Thing about this open world, they've said that on the speeder you can drive it for like 4 to 5 minutes. I really do wonder how much content is actually here. Like, it's cool to see the Jawas.
None.
I think that's another one of their.
That's the thing. People I talked about that. People misunderstand this. Yeah, there's a bunch of games where you can cross the map in 4 minutes, but those games have like 2 hours of stuff that you want to interact with in those 4 minutes.
Vehicles and such in the background over here, but I just wonder how much actual content is within these open world hubs, because I think there's like 4 to 5 planets that we're going to be able to explore. But I guess that's really the question of how much content is within this, and also how enjoyable it is. You know, quality over quantity, obviously.
Yeah, again, look at the speeder. If for some reason it leaves a dent in the sand, I don't. Which woman made this? Which woman made this? It's 100% the design of a woman. It's Ubisoft. 90% of their staff is women. Okay, there's no chance. Dude, mandatory basic physics of life classes for all women. I'm just gonna say that straight out here. Okay.
What is that?
Nothing. You can't interact with it. That's what it is.
Ooh. Some.
Yeah. You see this? What? How?
Light flickering.
Stay sharp, Kay.
And the worst part is, the indentation in the sand appears not from the exhaust, but from the front, which is not in the sand. It's just flying. I'm so done.
A pristine Sarlacc tooth is worth a lot on the black market.
You saying I'll have competition?
Dead Sarlaccs get scavenged fast. Anyone else looking for a tooth won't be coming alone.
Also, the fact that there's epic music while literally nothing is happening.
A lot of empty space.
A lot of non-game.
Conchida Troy. Gigidwanak su imta graba fingrani titoki.
It's a dead Sarlacc. Who knows what's crawling around down there?
So this is the stealth. I think that's supposed to be the focus of this gameplay. And this should be interesting. It's Sarlacc Pit, right?
Nope. As you can see, the Sarlacc has been dead for a millennia because it's rock. Now, living things can turn into rock, but typically no.
Okay, that's one math down. You good, buddy?
You're literally in a cave because making an actual Sarlacc is hard.
Ugh, it's kind of leathery.
Is that our hidden loading screen?
Yeah. Literally a
I guess
cave.
the Sarlacc Pit is a cave, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it doesn't get better than this. Again, it literally doesn't get better than this. It gets worse. This is horrible. This is why you don't buy Ubisoft games. This is why you wish that Ubisoft goes bankrupt and all the purple-haired women just have to, I don't know, learn to cook or something. Okay? This is the life we are living. Anyway, that was our boy. Legacy Killer HD, 10 out of 10. Beautiful. Bye-bye.